take a seat. Looking for a laid back type of cool, listen up, cause this is different type of deal. You're now listening to Can't Be Seen, Real, Can't Be Seen, Real, Can't Be Seen, Real. Serving up a real treat. Pull up.
What's up, Can't Be Surreal fans? I got my man Conn Man in the building with me today. How you feeling, Conn?
Hey, the Conn Man is doing great, man. Thank you for inviting me on your show. You know, me and you, and it's great to be on. Looking forward to talking about whatever you need to talk about. Playoffs are going crazy. It's off the hook. And again, I want to thank you for having me on the show.
I appreciate you coming on, Conn. And for my type of show, I talk about some of everything and anything. But I first preference everything. Since you are a guest on my show, will ask you your top 5 cereal, Conn, of all times or just in general.
All right, Mike. You know what? I had to think about this. I had to go back in the day. I had to think about this. All right, but hey, I'm rolling with this. I got number 1, Frosted Flakes. I'm going with that number 1. Number 2, Cheerios.
Okay, you talking regular Cheerios, Conn, Honey Nut, or Frosted?
Honey Nut. I've got to go Honey Nut. Number 3. Now here we go again. Different flavors. Captain Crunch.
Oh yeah, that Captain
And
Crunch.
then I got 4.
Captain Crunch, huh?
Hey, you know, like Marcus, man, when you were doing your lifting weights and you were doing your thing, you know, and I was doing my thing. I wasn't big as you, but I was doing my thing, and I used to hit up on the shredded wheat.
Okay.
Frosted shredded wheat.
The Frosted shredded wheat, right? Yep.
Absolutely. And then number 5, Raisin Bran.
You know what? My brother would like you, Conn, because y'all got the same taste almost. He like the shredded stuff.
Don't make him a bad guy, man. He knows what's going on.
So your top 5 over matching his. So, but that's good.
What's yours?
So, like I said before, thank you, Conn, for coming on the show. And I know for a fact that you are a historian of basketball, Conn. The NBA, ABA, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Now, for most of my folks on the Can't Be Surreal side that doesn't know, because we're probably still a little younger in our generation than you, Conn. So this would be a great time to break it all down for us, Conn, and let us know. You know, let's talk about the ABA a little bit, because I don't think folks don't understand how much the ABA really helped the NBA in terms of, you know, who they promoted, the players that came from the ABA to the NBA. Hell, even in the Rutgers back in the day in New York.
Well, Marcus, I'm glad you asked me that question, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to express my opinion. The ABA, first of all, the ABA was generated because of the fact that they wanted to have a new league and have new ideas, but the NBA would not accept them. So what they did is they went and had their own league. And what they did was they said, well, look, we got to get some big time players from college to strengthen our league. And that's what they did. And the ABA occurred. And just to let you all know that all the players that played in the ABA and the records that they did or discovered or did is not included in the NBA. You look at.
I was about to ask you that. So all those records from the ABA didn't transfer over to the
Not
NBA
at all. Not at all. Okay. But check this out, Marcus. All right, something you don't know, y'all, your listeners or watchers. The NBA is still paying the ABA. Figure that out. There's a reason.
Oh, wow.
There's a reason. The reason is because they were wrong. And they've been paying the ABA ever since. But getting back to the ABA again. The ABA was developed, again, because the NBA had they thought that the ABA wasn't good enough to come into their league. And as you may or may not know, there's only been 4 ABA teams that transferred over to the NBA. San Antonio Spurs, Denver Nuggets. I can go into that later on. But anyway, what transpired was the ABA was developed to not so much to compete with the NBA, but just to give a different perspective. Now, ABA, just to give y'all an understanding, there was no 3-point shooting in the NBA until 1972, and Chris Ford hit the first 3-point shot. Well, you may not know that, but anyway, so what the ABA did, they did a lot of things that the NBA took from the ABA, except the red, white, and blue ball. But a lot of the things that the ABA established, the NBA did as well to try to promote their league. The NBA was a great league. Now, I'm going to tell you a little quick story, if I can, Marcus. 1975, 1976. I know I'm old as dirt, but 1975, 1976. I was a student of the game. I didn't know much about the ABA. As a matter of fact, the NBA at that time it was only 3 channels, and the NBA used to come on tape delayed. Even when the Philadelphia 76ers Lakers beat the Philadelphia 76ers when Magic Johnson had his great rookie season, game was tape delayed. I don't know if you know that. Game was tape delayed.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So going back in them days, matter of fact, the NBA was wasn't really well established yet until Magic and then Bird came in and established the NBA. But the ABA, now I was about 13 or 14. Now they had the NBA versus the ABA All-Stars, supposed to be held here in Massachusetts at the Providence Civic Center. And because of the NBA's, they didn't want nothing to do with the ABA. They canceled the game due to contracts, et cetera, et cetera. But the ABA was developed to the 3-point shot, the cheerleaders, or the entertainment factor. That all was because of the ABA. And ABA, I have studied so much of the ABA, and the ABA was, if you ever look at highlights or ever take a chance to look at the highlights, ABA was fantastic. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was exciting.
Okay, so Conn Man screen probably cut out. He did say he was having issues with it, which is no problem. So basically, Conn Man's a historian of the game, and with him, the ABA, NBA goes back old school with it. For everybody that doesn't know, especially me, I don't know too much about it at that time, and at that point, I wasn't even born yet. So you gotta understand, when I started watching basketball, it was in the Jordan's era, probably the second time around when they're going back to back on a three-peat from 91, 92, 93, I believe. And if I'm wrong, somebody go ahead and fact check me on that. But that's when I really started getting into it. And then, of course, as usual, I'm a Sixers fan. Dude, hold up, he might be back. Let's see.
Conn Man is back now. Everything's going good, my brother. Everything's good now.
He back.
You're working right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, but yeah, we're good. We're back.
No, don't worry about that, Con, because I just kept on talking, and we have it all. Because with my show, we leave everything in there, Con, so it's not a problem.
I appreciate that, my brother.
Oh yeah, so actually you look a lot more clearer too, Con.
Yes, that's what I wanted to do. Technical difficulties, but now thanks to you, we're gonna be on point now. Okay,
so I remember you saying about the ABA. Now we can finish up on the ABA.
It was okay. Well, like I said, 1975, 1976.
Yeah.
I know way before your time, but there was going to be an ABA versus NBA All-Star game of the best to compete. It was at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Massachusetts, but they canceled that. And then right then after that, they had the breakdown. If you remember, well, a lot of y'all don't remember, there was a pass between the ABA and the NBA. And Dr. J, who had played for the at that particular time the New Jersey Nets, was trying to get to the NBA, and there was a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and they were stifled. And the NBA decided, okay, look, this is what we'll do. We'll take 4 teams from the ABA who were doing well financially, and we'll add them to the NBA. The other ones got to go, and that's exactly what transpired. And that same year, as I told you all before, was the year that Dr. J came down to the Bedford High School, and I got the opportunity to play against him. Great experience. The ABA was fantastic. It was all about entertainment, entertaining the people who came to the games. It was exciting. A lot of great players who ended up playing, and I'll name some names for you real quick, just so you know, real quick. You ever heard of a guy by the name of Moses Malone?
Oh yeah, he's the
From
reason why
your
we won
Philly,
that
from your
championship.
Philly.
Yeah, he's the
Where
reason
you
why we
think
won
he
the
started?
'83 championship.
Where you think he started? ABA.
Probably in Rutgers, right?
No,
ABA.
ABA. Absolutely. I can go
Okay.
on. George Gervin. I can name about
The
100
Iceman.
players.
Okay.
Iceman. Yes, they
Oh, he
all
came
got
from the ABA.
Yes, they all
Okay.
started from the ABA. Because what happened was the NBA, right? They had a certain standards, and they felt the ABA was not worth their standard. So what the ABA did at the time was they went and recruited a lot of players that they thought would help the ABA. And Moses Malone, as you know, came from high school. If you know that, Moses Malone is one
Yeah,
of the
he
very
came from high school.
Yes. He's one of the very few players who they went and recruited from high school to try to develop their brand. And the ABA was fantastic. I'm going to tell you one thing, if I can, ABA. There was a guy, and I hope your people who are watching, listening, please check this out. There was a guy, Dr. J was the very first big name that they got. Dr. J was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know if you know that, but he was drafted originally by the Atlanta Hawks. He played in the ABA with the Virginia Squires. Okay, now I ain't got no Google. I got all up here. He was offered a contract by the Atlanta Hawks of the NBA. He got more money from the ABA, and he decided to go to the ABA. And know something was the greatest move, I think, only because of the fact that he went into help develop the ABA, and he got paid very handsomely. And there was a guy by the name of, and y'all please, Marcus, whoever's watching, look up David Thompson. David Thompson went to North Carolina State. David Thompson had what at that time was the greatest vertical leap ever in NBA, ABA history. He was a two-time NCAA champion with North Carolina State, two-time player of the year. He also got drafted by the Denver Nuggets of the ABA. Him and Dr. J used to go at it. Dr. J was with the Nets. David Thompson was with the Denver Nuggets at the time, and they went at it.
Is this still all the ABA? Is this still all ABA?
This is ABA, bro.
Teams
all
ABA.
All ABA.
Oh, still ABA.
All ABA. Okay. All ABA. And then they went at it. Fortunately or unfortunately, Dr. J won the games. And then in 1976, y'all need to look at this up. Again, here's where the NBA copied the ABA. 1976, there was a dunk contest. That's where it originated from. And in the dunk contest, Marcus, check this out. George Gervin was in it. Alice Gilmore was in it. Alice Gilmore, another one who came from the ABA. Dan Issel, I can go on and on. I can go on. I want to bore your viewers here. But anyway, 1976 was the dunk contest between Dr. J and David Thompson. David Thompson, I felt, kind of won, but then Dr. J did that dunk from the foul line, the famous Dr. J dunk from the foul line, and he took the house down, and Dr. J ended up winning the original dunk contest, which the NBA copied, by the way. So
yeah, because that seemed like all that was still going on in the NBA terms, like when Dr. J dunked from the free throw line. So that was all ABA. That had nothing to do with the NBA.
Absolutely not. They just copied it. And yeah. So David Thompson, I'm gonna tell you something, Marcus. I don't think you're gonna believe me, but it's on video. David Thompson, when he played at North Carolina State, check this out. There was a guy by the name of Phil Spence. He was 6'9". Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During the game, check this out. During the game, Phil Spence, 6'9", he's under the basket. There was a guy shooting from the corner. David Thompson's coming from the top of the key. Check it out. From the top of the key. The guy in the corner, I don't remember his name, to be honest with you. I don't know. But he took a jump shot from the corner. Phil Spence is underneath the basket. David Thompson goes up. Runs from the top of the key. Runs. And blocks the shot. Now, mind you, his feet or foot, whatever you want to call it, is under Spence's armpit, who's 6'9". Think about that. David Thompson flips over, falls on the ground or court, smashes his head, comes back to the game with his head all taped up in bandages and all that stuff, and continues to play. That's one testament to David Thompson. David Thompson was by far, to me, the most incredible player I've ever seen, talent-wise. Because let me tell you something. Name any ball player. I guarantee you they could either dribble or they had some kind of ability to handle the ball or to penetrate or do all that. David Thompson had nothing. You know what he had, Marcus? Yeah. Hey, I'm going to send you the film. This is what he did. Marcus, you know Bill Walton? Does that ring a bell? Bill Walton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bill Walton played for UCLA, if you remember.
That's still before my time.
I know. I see. That's why maybe but you asked me that, so I'm going to tell you. David Thompson,
right.
ABA. We're talking ABA. David, this is one move he had, Marcus. One move only. He's only 6'4", had a 50 or 50 more inch vertical leap. This is what he would do. He would post up at the foul line, turn, fake left, go right, and jump over whomever.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could stop it. He also, if you look at the record books, he had 73 points in the game. NBA, not ABA, NBA. And he lost, yes, he lost the scoring title to George Gervin. George Gervin the same day, at the same day. David Thompson in the afternoon, he got 73. That night, George Gervin got 60 points or something, and he ended up winning the scoring title. So, anyway,
here's my thing, Tom. Why that? How come nobody in the NBA circle ever talk about David Thompson's 73-point game like they will talk about a Wilkes 100 or even David Robinson 77?
Well, all right, Marcus. Now you got me. And now I'm gonna hit you hard now on this one. All right. No, because I'm glad you give me the platform to talk because I have so much knowledge about this. I'm not all that, but just to give you an indication, you know a guy by the name of Michael Jordan. I think you know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you know when Michael Jordan was entered into Hall of Fame? You remember that?
Yeah. But I can't recall which year. But was that David Thompson behind him? That was standing behind him? That presented him?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That should tell people, folks, how much respect this guy got. This guy was absolutely phenomenal. Now, to answer your question, why wasn't his 73 points regarded as important as the other ones? I don't have a direct answer. All I can tell you, Marcus, is the fact that it was a great time at the time because him and Gervin were fighting for the scoring title. And again, back then, I think the reason why, because back then, Marcus, NBA was not on TV very much. So a lot of people don't know about him. Nobody knows about him because they went on TV like now you got ESPN, you got cable, you got that. Back then, there was only 3 channels. And the only team that covered the NBA back then was ABC. So a lot of people didn't get a chance to really witness him. But Marcus, let me tell you one thing about again, I'm gonna hit you. Because I studied the ABA so much, and once David Thompson went to the NBA with the Denver Nuggets, because they were one of the teams that were transported from the ABA to the NBA. Denver Nuggets came to the Boston Garden 4 times. I was there every single time. I got to witness him firsthand, and it was a incredible experience. I'll give you one. Matter of fact, the very first one was at the Boston Garden against the Celtics. And I was there early because I was so pumped. I was young. And we all went to the game early. We took a bus, by the way. And tickets were only $12 to get in. $12.
Back then.
Nah, I'm telling you how old I am. The tickets were only $12. And the place was, at that time, empty because the game didn't start. We got there like an hour and a half early, Marcus. So I'm there with my boy, and we're watching. And all of a sudden, David Thompson comes out with another guy by the name of Anthony Roberts. Your folks can look him up too. He went to Oral Roberts, big time scorer. Anyway, so they're out there before the game, and they're shooting around. And then all of a sudden, they started doing dunks. They broke the rim. The rim started hanging. So what they did was, check this out. They said, let's do a dunk contest, and without touching the rim. So they did every imaginable, but could not touch the rim because you would lose points. Now I'm there that early. That's how early I was at. But David Thompson, to me, was the most gifted individual because, like I said, you got my boy Isaiah, you got Iverson, you got Jordan, you got name any NBA ball player. They had multiple of moves. They could do inside, outside. They can do. David Thompson had one move. Fake left, jump right. Game coach. If you were
could drop 73 points, and could drop 73 points just by faking left and going up right.
I'm gonna send you some stuff. You're gonna be amazed. But anyway, yeah, fact. It's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. He was on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest with you because I care so much about the ABA. When I was living up the West End out here, I contacted David Thompson's agent to have him come down and do a clinic at the New Bedford Boys and Girls Club at the time. And his agent sent me a tape of Skywalker, which he was called. And the tape was phenomenal. And I wanted to get David to come down and speak to the kids and do the damn thing. And I already planned, have a big screen and a big thing so these kids could see how good this guy was. And unfortunately, finances were kind of tough at the time. He had wanted $6,000 plus flight with his wife, and we didn't have that kind of money. I went and talked to the elders. I went and talked to the community, and we didn't have the finances to be able to accomplish that at the time. But David Thompson, unfortunately, when he left Denver, he went to Seattle Supersonics, and he delved into the drug scene. And what happened was one of these drug and festive nights or whatever, he was out in Seattle at a club, and he fell down the stairs, and he injured his knee real bad. And therefore, that 50-inch or whatever vertical was gone. And but I guarantee you, Marcus, you ask anyone who knows anything about anything, they'll tell you that was the guy. So unfortunately, drugs got in the way, and he straightened his life out now. He's a reverend, and he's doing great. I still keep in contact with him, believe it or not, and he's doing great things. I originally from North Carolina, and he's doing great things. And but getting back to the ABA, oh man, Mark, you see. Okay, I gotta tell you another ABA story. Hey, you talk about ABA, I'm gonna hit you. Okay,
yeah, because if you're gonna be a story of the game, Con, we gotta go back to the roots of it too, which would be the ABA.
All right, I gotta give you one more. I gotta give you one more. Then we'll do. It's your show. I appreciate you having me on, but I gotta keep it real with you. Are you knowledgeable of Providence College?
No, not at all. When it comes to college, I have no knowledge of anything.
Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna school all y'all. Providence College is like right down here in Massachusetts. Providence College went to the Final Four. I'm going way back now. And they had a guy by the name of Ernie DiGregorio. You don't know who that is, but he was a legend
Not
out
at
here.
all.
They also had
So
another
that's a
legend.
legend. He's a legend in Boston, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, I think throughout the country. At that time, yeah, he was throughout the country. They ended up playing Final Four from Providence, which is a small school, Jesuit school, out here in Massachusetts. Ernie D was a legend. They also had a guy by the name of Marvin Bonds. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
What?
No, not at all.
All right. Now we're talking ABA. Okay, so Marvin Bonds played at Providence College. They went to the Final Four. They ended up losing the final game to Memphis, who had a guy by the name of Larry Keenan, who you don't know, another dunk artist who played for Indiana in the ABA. So anyway, after graduating from Providence College, although he had a little bit of a problem in high school because he was 6'9", and Providence Central at that time won the state title. And Marvin Bonds had the Providence Central jacket on with the big Providence Central in the back. And something happened, and he got a tire iron, and he whacked somebody. Keep it real, he whacked somebody. So he's known for that because he went after he did it. He went on the bus. You can't miss him. He's 6'9", wearing Providence Central jacket. But anyway, so after that, Marvin Bonds goes to the ABA. He goes to the St. Louis of the ABA. And guess who were his teammates? Moses Malone. You ever heard of M.O.K.?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man. M.O.K. played for Gardner-Webb. He ended up playing for the Celtics. You remember the guy who used to have the towel waving for the Celtics when they were winning with Larry Bird?
No.
Oh, well. Anyway.
So you got to understand, when I'm watching the games, it was Jordan on NBC, and then that transferred over to Charles Barkley when he was with the Sixers, like towards the tail end of his career with the Sixers. And then, that's when I got into it with AI and then with the Sixers.
Well, hey, after I get done with this, I'm going to hit you a little story about Charles Barkley, since you want to. We can talk Philly. We can talk Philly. We can talk Perry Moss. You remember him?
No, before my time again.
Again. All right. Well, anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, Marvin Bonds. Marvin Bonds, again, he local, 20 minutes from here. He ended up getting drafted by St. Louis. They had Moses Malone. They had a guy by the name of M.O.K., and they had Avery Hewitt or whatever. And they ended up winning that year. Marvin Bonds, now wait to hear this story, Marcus, for real. Phenomenal player. So they're playing against the Nets. The Nets have Dr. J. I just told you how great, well, y'all know how great Dr. J was. He was even better in the ABA. Y'all didn't get to see him in the real.
Not at all.
Anyway, so Marvin Bonds now, when he was playing with St. Louis, they played against the Nets. Y'all can look it up. You can all check it out. He scored 55 points against Dr. J. For real. For real. The thing again with, here we go again. I hate talking about this, but maybe it might help people out. He had a tremendous ABA career. And what he used to do is he used to come down to our neighborhood. I wish I could make this up. He had 17 phones in his house. I wish I could make this. I wish I could make this up. He came down in two gray limousines. We have a famous park down here called Money Park. He came down, and everybody thought he was a thug because of the tire iron things. And then he ended up playing for the Detroit Pistons. And when he was at the Detroit Pistons, a good friend of ours, his sister was ended up becoming very good friends with Marvin Bonds, and they hooked up, whatever. And Marvin Bonds came back to New Bedford. Now, this is what I want you all to know for real. Marvin Bonds, I didn't know him from a hole in the wall. I knew of him, but I never met the guy. I was in awe. I'm like, what's he doing in New Bedford, man? What place called the Bomb Shelter? I walk in, he's sitting on the table. Now, Micah, I think you know me. I got a big mouth, so I got no problem going to anybody and asking questions. So I went and I just talked to him. I asked, I said, Marvin, man, can I sit down and can I talk to you? And we talked. Now, Marcus, I'm gonna keep it real with you. This guy never once mentioned Dr. J. Never once mentioned his last team was with the Celtics, by the way. You can check that out. Never mentioned anything about anything related to the NBA. His career, I just know him as a great person, a great dude, nice guy. Now, what we should do, Marcus, back in the day, this place called New Bedford Boys Club. Every Friday night, we used to go and play, talk stuff, talk smack, and we play every Friday night like clockwork. As I told you, Marvin was in New Bedford at this particular time. He walks in the gym, and we're in awe. And he plays against us. And he goes in the corner, and he throws up. Real bad. Yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this. He throws up real bad. And it kind of put a dimmer on all that we thought, you know what I mean? Anyway, maybe about a month later, there was a big tournament down here in Taunton, Mass. And Marvin Bonds is playing. Now, here's a guy who got 55 points against Dr. J playing in a rinky-dink tournament, rinky-dink boys club. He goes, plays with this. Somebody asked him. He went and played with him. Halftime. 5-0 comes. They handcuff him, and they take him. So, what I want to say is that, again, drugs has hurt so many ball players in every sport. But, you know, the thing I guess I want, he passed away like 6-7 years ago. And everybody thinks he's a thug because of the tire iron stuff. But I got to know the real guy. Maybe because my personality or whatever, but we never talked about Dr. J. Never once mentioned any of his accomplishments. Player of the year, never heard one thing about anything, and it was sad. So again, getting back to the ABA before I let you do your thing, ABA was phenomenal. I know every damn statistics you ever want to know. I got one more story, real quick. I got one more quick story, if y'all let me. I used to do broadcasting, okay, and I did play-by-play. And what happens, I'm a referee, as you know. So my guy, Steve Burgle from the Burgle Basketball Association, used to do a Christmas tournament. And I would be on the mic. This is cool. You're going to like this one. I'd be on the mic, talking my smack like I always do. But during halftime, what I would do is because I was at that time the trivia king. So I would put out trivia questions for anybody. And if they got it right, I would give them a prize. I'll give them something. So Steve Burgle comes up to me and said, Mike, you know who's coming today? I'm like, who? He said, Nate Archibald. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me backtrack. 1972, Nate Archibald came down representing the Celtics, because what they used to do is they used to refurbish all the courts around the New Bedford area, because we had the Black Panther party. We had all kinds of stuff going on down here. It was kind of a volatile situation. We had a lockdown strike. We had all that. So anyway, they would come down and they would refurbish the basketball courts.
One second, Conn. Now that would be an interesting topic to talk about on another show about the Black Panthers. I would love to sit down and have a nice talk about that and refresh some history for everybody that doesn't know about the Black Panthers or didn't know how it started, when it started, or was even like? 'Cause it seemed like it was like a cool thing to be back then. When social justice was running rampant. I just wanted to say that, Con, so let you jump back in.
No, I thank you for that. I thank you for that. And hey, I just want to touch on one thing about that. My family started the Black Panther Party out here. Here. And the Black Panther Party was known for violence and the leather coats and the hats and the rifles and the guns, which they were, if they needed to be. But the Black Panther Party around, and you don't know, but call them Miles. They were out of Boston. The Black Panther Party did so much for young kids like myself who were, I'm not going to say poor, but we were on welfare. And they would feed us. They would do so many things that people don't even know about the Black Panther Party. So we can go on that another show. We can go on that.
Of course.
We can go on that. I can go on that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a name to look up. His name is Pocky Grace. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. All right. So I'm broadcasting the game, and I give my trivia questions, and I'm asking questions, And then Steve said, "Yeah, well, Nate Archibald's coming." Oh, Nate Archibald came down to the Park, so they were refurbishing the parks. So I got to play against Nate Archibald. I scored against him, by the way. But anyway, I remember that, right? So now, fast forward 40 years. I'm doing the game at New Bedford High School. And Steve Berger told me, Nate Archibald's coming down. I'm like, who? He said, Nate Archibald. I'm like, yeah, right. Come on now. So anyway, what I'm doing is, halftime, I'm laying out all his stats because I know him like the top of my head. 34.5 points per game, led the league in scoring, assists, the same. I'm rambling off. So I'm giving questions. I'm going to ask you a question too. The one I ask all the time. Which was, matter of fact, I'll ask now. Name the only player to win a high school, college, ABA, NBA, and gold medal. But that's the questions I kind of ask. You're not going to get it.
Yeah, I can't come up with one name. That's crazy.
It is.
I can't come up with one name.
And guess what? You know how NBA records are made to be broken? This one will never be broken. So I do my thing. I give my trivia question, and then I turn my head. I wish I was true story. I turn my head. I look in the doorway. Now, the team is called, I remember the team called Lincoln. They're out of Brooklyn or New York. I remember they came with red and white sweatsuits and whatever. And I see Nate Archibald. I'm like, and now I just told the crowd about all his stats, not knowing that he's there. He walks in the building. I turned my head. I went, woo. I walked up. I said, Mr. Archibald, my name is Michael Consaccio. I know you don't know me, but I remember when you came down in 72, and you came down to New Bedford and you did a clinic for the kids. And, we greatly appreciate what you did for us back then. He turned to me and he just looked. He said, that was over 40 years ago. Meanwhile, they played their game. He wasn't a coach. He was like a advisor or whatever. So him and this guy who was an ABA player, 6'8", I can't remember his name. They go sit in the stands. So the question I just gave to you, I gave to the crowd. Of course, they couldn't get it. And it was funny because the guy who played ABA, he played for like over 10 years. He couldn't even answer that question. And Nate Archibald could not answer that question. But anyway, again, talking about the ABA, for me, the only sad thing is NBA wasn't on TV. So damn well the ABA wasn't on TV. So
no, not at all.
They became bigger than life. Dr. J became bigger than life. Oscar Robson went to court. I don't know if you know who Oscar Robson was, but
of course, Mr. Triple Double himself.
Okay. Well, Oscar Robson, as great as a player as he was, what he did was more important off the court. He established the free agency. He established the fact that a player, because in the NBA back then, Marcus, what happened was you were on a team, they owned you. You could not leave at all. He went to court to make sure that players can go elsewhere. And then I can name him. Man, we could go on for 9 hours. The guy by the name of Spencer Hayward. You ever heard of him?
I haven't. But
oh man, so you got me on the road, bro.
If we had 9 hours to give Kyle, we could definitely give 9 hours.
But enough about me right now. It's your show. You have your business. What you want to talk about?
Nah, but see, that's a good thing. But I brought you on the show so we could get a little history of the game. I want to make this. My show is always more diverse than most other shows. I like to keep my show real as it gets. And I also like when my guests come on, I also like for my guests to talk about what they know best. Now, if you don't want to be called historian of the game, that's fine. Nope. As far as I know, you have a whole lot more knowledge than I ever had, or even talk to people, that think they know basketball. You have way more knowledge than they have. So, but for me, personally, I'm always trying to learn something different. It doesn't matter what it is, especially when it comes to sports. And when you touched on the Black Panthers, that's just something that I would definitely like to talk about on another show, because just having a different perspective from back then till now, and how it damn near something just never changed. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that you brought up that Bill Russell and them couldn't even eat or drink with their teams after they got done winning championships, that goes a long way, for me, and I think that, as Black society, that we need more stories out there. Progress has been made, Con. Just let me say that. Definitely progress has been made, but I think we all could learn a lesson from the older generation still, just to refresh our memory so we don't forget basically where we came from. And so that's what I pretty much like about my show. We can talk about anything, and it doesn't bother me or my fans. They already know where we're coming from. That's why it's called Surreal. We keep it real, basically, for everything we do, Con.
Appreciate that, man. In 1963, when Martin Luther King gave his speech, "I Have a Dream," it's still prevalent. I mean, it's still there. It's
that's something we could discuss on another show.
I got you.
So I definitely want to thank you for being a guest today, Con. You're more than welcome anytime to come on the show. Especially you got a whole lot more to say. And about podcasting. That's a great thing about podcasting. We can talk about what the hell we want at any time we want. And with this show, I think it's right up your alleyway too, Con.
Thank you so much.
I definitely appreciate you coming on. A little bit of it, you was kind of tuned out a little bit.
Yeah.
But, that could be from my hotel Wi-Fi. I'm doing this from right now. But most definitely, Con. So always a guest on this show anytime you want. But next time I'm gonna have to do my cereal review while we do another show, Con.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to hear your favorite. I ain't heard your favorite. I ain't heard nothing yet.
Okay. Well, everybody know. Well, for the folks that do watch the show, my top 5 is Frosted Flakes, like yours. Frosted Fruity Pebbles with the Well, it's really Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows in it.
Okay.
Golden Crisp. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
Good.
Okay. So far, that's 3. I do Frosted Cheerios, number 4, and then it's really a toss-up between Captain Crunch and basically it's Captain Crunch. I like the regular ones. I'm not a big fan of Captain Crunch berries like that, but I definitely like the regular Captain Crunch.
I hear you.
So Frosted Flakes, the Fruity Pebbles with the marshmallows, Golden Crisp, Frosted Cheerios, and Captain Crunch is my top 5.
I
eat so much of it. It's like, I eat so much of it, I be getting confused with myself, because even when they bring out like holiday edition stuff, I can keep going on and on about cereal. But yeah, but see, Con, usually I try to keep my shows around that 30-minute range.
Good.
But you got so much knowledge, we almost went an hour, and I
I'm
love
sorry
it,
about
Con.
that. I'm
I
sorry
love
about
it.
that.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it, Con. And that's what I would like to get into more too. Just folks with more knowledge of their situation, because we all got a story to tell, and that's how I like it, Con.
I appreciate that, and you know something. I appreciate you having me on your show so much because, like you said, we have to learn about our history and what a lot of things transpired. I know too much, so I know a lot. So I come from something a different place, if you know what I'm saying. So
And that's what this show is about, Con. So most definitely. And you already know we're going to do another show on Friday, for the ASAP Network.
oh
So
yes,
shouts out to the ASAP Network out there,
absolutely,
for having
absolutely.
me and Con on the fast break.
Oh
Y'all get
yes.
more of me and Con. Definitely get more of me and Con every Friday night. So y'all can definitely check this out on Fast Break on the ASAP Network. So Con, with that being said, it was real.
Marcus, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me speak some of the things that I know. And whatever you need, bro, I'm there for you. Whatever you need.